Well, when it comes to barramundi fishing, it is all about lures and catching these fish on artificials because it is just so much fun. Now, when it comes to artificials, OMG, there are so many things to know. These are probably what we call the most traditional lures. They're hard bodies. Now you got one there with a small bib, that one's got a big bib. So this guy here will swim to about 2 or 3 feet. This guy here will go to about 10 to 15 feet. And you can get some hard bodies now that'll swim over 25 foot in depth. So what you need to do is think about how deep that lure is going to swim and use the right lure for the conditions you're fishing. Then the other thing you need to know about hard bodies, you get floating lures, suspending lures and sinking lures. So a floating lure is fantastic. Get it to dive, hits a stick, let it go, floats to the top, then back over like that. A suspending lure I love because you can twitch it down to a depth, hold it in the zone, twitch it slowly, it won't float or sink, it'll sit right in the barra's nose, give it another twitch, bang, he'll eat it. Then of course you've got a sinking lure. Great if you've got a steep rocky edge, cast it, let it sink all the way down, and then it'll swim along at that depth. So, different size bibs, floating, suspending and sinking. There's a lot to know about hard bodies. Then of course, you've got surface lures. You've got the classic old popper, it's got the cup face, just chugs along, sits on the surface, looks like a small fleeing mullet. Really important to give it a pause and give the fish time to eat it. Then this guy here, you see he's got a pointed face. He's a stick bait, and that little stick bait you do a thing called walk the dog, and he literally walks side to side like this, drives the barra crazy, and you'll hear they've got some serious rattles in there to let the fish know that they're there. Vibing has become extremely popular over the last 3 or 4 years. We've got a soft vibe there, and here, a rattling vibe. The key with vibes, get them down deep. See the barra on the sounder, cast, let it hit the bottom, and when you bring your rod tip up, you literally feel it go, you can feel it through the rod tip, let it sink again. And because you can get these guys right in the fish's face, they're absolutely deadly on barramundi. The closer you get to the snag, the more chance you've got of actually catching a fish. Then, soft plastics. 20 years ago, all we knew about was Mr. Twisters. Now you've got every shape, every size. These things, you can fish them deep, fish them on a jig head, fish them weedless, get them right in behind the structure. Skipping these things into the mangroves, absolutely deadly on barramundi. And guess what my favourite colour is? You guessed it, white, unbelievable. If you're in the billabongs, these things are great too. It's a soft frog, cast it over the top of the lilies, work it right through that structure again. When the barra bites, bang, the hooks stick out and you nail yourself a fish. So as you can see, when it comes to barramundi lures, there's a lot to learn. Make sure you've got all the colours covered, all the depths. Make sure you've got ones that sink, some that suspend, have some plastics, have some hard bodies, have every single base covered, and you may well find yourself the $1 million fish. Ready, Paul? Oh! Teddy!